Are we live?
Yeah.
We're live. Sorry. I was doing so. Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is the daily live. I apologise.
It's Friday.
No, you know what it is? It's not even that it's Friday. It's the fact that it's a week to go till the transfer window shuts.
God.
It's felt so long ago that there was lots of time to get stuff done.
Remember that?
And we're moving into critical mass now, aren't we? With a week to go. We are set for a departure, though, as is on the thumbnail there. Mason Holgate is set to sign for Southampton on a season-long loan, with Everton footing half of his wages. Which, listen, without a sale, it was always going to be that case. Southampton were never taking a Premier League wage into the Championship. That's why they've tried to get other players out the door. But you know the way Everton wants Sulemana? Do you think there's ever a
thought,
a time where they go, hey, you know, you've actually got two lads that we want, and you want one of ours? It probably didn't even
cross their minds.
It probably didn't even cross their minds. But there you go. Hit this like button on your way in. I'm on it today. I'm on it. Everton have broken me this week, so hit that like button right now while you're here. Don't be coming in and sitting here for nothing, just watching without hitting the like button, because that is that's poor. That's almost like Everton's bored at times. You're doing the same thing. So get the like button hit, and if you haven't subscribed, do it right now. Right, I'm back. Mason Holgate, yeah, I mean, this has been coming. We know it's been coming for some time. But off he goes, it looks like. And I think he'll do well, Ped, to be honest.
Listen, I think in the past we've bigged Mason Holgate up because I think we genuinely saw something in him. But I think the same thing that we saw in him is this almost like the same thing that has led to his
demise.
Yeah, because he's got an arrogance about him that I think we all appreciated. But I think it's for one reason or other, as I don't want to say, listen, I don't know how he does things day to day. I don't know how he trains. I don't know, but there's clearly something not right. His concentration levels are poor. He tends to switch off in games, and that can leave him, costing us mistakes. So it's good that he's getting an opportunity to go somewhere play. He's basically been out all summer, hasn't he? The manager told him before they went to Switzerland he wasn't in the plans, and he basically said his goodbyes to the team. That was
we got told. You got told that.
Yeah,
as they were off to Switzerland, he'd said goodbye.
So he's been with Everton have spun it as they always do. He's not quite fit. Blah blah blah. But that's the reality of the situation, and I think what the reality of the situation is even more is. And it's the same with Damari Gray. Everton need to get rid of players that they don't want. And whether people like it or not, and it's not the nicest way of going around things, but the manager's obviously been very blunt and told them, get yourself a new club and we will do a deal, because we can't afford a bloated squad, a squad that the players I don't want. I need to get money in. I need to get players out, because these are the realities. And I think what's happened in the last couple of days is almost, pushed the realities again to the surface. We all know they're there, but now and again, Everton like to remind us that those issues are there. And the last couple of days, with everything that's gone on with the investment situation, I think that allows all the journalists to rewrite their stories and hit pieces or whatever, welcoming pieces from some people. And go, and then you get the situation where Mason Holgate on about 70 grand a week.
Closer to 80, did I?
And Everton just want him gone. Southampton are willing to take him, and there's a problem. There's a problem going out the door. We would have all loved them to have gone permanently, but for that kind of money, and that's when we say about that kind of money, by the way, the player doesn't pay himself. The club decided they were going to pay. Again, we've outbid ourselves for a player. We've probably heard a couple of rumblings that someone went to them, I'd have 70 grand a week.
I think, I normally jump in with you and go, yeah, that's exactly what we did. When he got the new contract, things were looking good for him.
But was he looking 70 grand a week?
No, but I think he was probably already, this is like the third. Don't forget he had a contract with when Allardyce was here as well. He signed his next one. So therefore, looking, you know, we did it, as you do at the time. We were speaking about him when Carlo was here, going, well, he looks like he's our best defender at the moment, because he was. He looked like the scene. He looked like he was certainly dominating Michael Keane. Make of that what you will. Young English defender, decent on the ball, got a bit of nastiness about him. Like you said, that bit of arrogance. We've all seen him in derby matches, throwing Firmino into the crowd and everything else. You knew that he had that, but he's lost his way massively. That stupid Cruyff turn against Preston in a pre-season friendly for no reason ended up in being out for 3 months, and then he's never recovered. Carlo's had him in and out. He was centre back, never really done it. Done a decent job at right back in a defensive formation. He's never recovered from it, and therefore he's never ever been able to get that rhythm of playing for Everton again and all that. I think at that time they've obviously thought we've got a 20, whatever he was then, 23, 24-year-old defender here. There was loads of comparisons with John Stones.
Oh, yeah.
One's just dominated the midfield in the Champions League final. The other one's off to Southampton on loan. And I think maybe that's why Everton flapped it. And don't forget, that was in a culture of giving everybody
well, that's
crazy
what I'm saying.
money.
I'm not having to go with the lad for earning that kind of money. I mean, I'm talking about the club as a whole, just throwing out contracts and getting them. Because this is another factor of what Everton have done in the last few years, is they've give out silly contracts to players, and then that inflates everybody else's contract. Yeah. So if you're giving contracts out to centre backs for 70 grand a week, then why do you think, you know, players are going to come in and go, well, he's on that, so I want this kind of money? And that leads to then an expectation of, like, say, Alex Iwobi wanting, say, like £100,000 a week. Doesn't deserve it. But that inflation of what we've pushed is how we've basically done the same thing. We've bid against ourselves.
It is mad. But listen, that is what it is. And if Everton pay 40 grand a week to Mason Holgate, and Southampton pay 40 grand a week to Mason Holgate, then Everton save what? It's 160 grand a month. It's £1.5 million or something, whatever it is, over the season. That can go on someone else's money, and that's how to a lot of people, they just be like, what? But that is how you that's how it works, isn't it? That's how it works. The club is juggling and it's trying to drag wages back down. And how you drag wages back down is you go after players who aren't on that kind of money. You know, you do your scouting, you do your work, you then decide who gets what. You know, and only the people who perform week in and week out earn the top dollar at your club. Yeah. Still, clubs are doing it now, still. Got wage structures, a lot of them still, and I know some have gone through it, but that they've gone through it through necessity at being at the very top and needing to. Everton needs to instill that culture back into the club and go, you know, if Everton are going for a player who is at, I don't know, whoever they are, say it's Manchester United, we seem to have a fixation with United players who haven't done it there at times, and Everton speak to him. You have your wage cap at like 80 grand a week or something because you think you can afford that. You don't go to him just because he's on 110 at United. You go, look, we want you, and this is what we can offer you. We can't go above it because we've got a wage structure. What we will say is if you sign for us permanently and you hit levels, then we will look at it again. But this is our wage structure. If you're not interested in that, fine, we'll move on to somebody else. And that's how we have to be. We have to be brave enough to set that culture back in. And if that means missing out on some players now, that's the way it is. I'd rather have younger, hungry players who are on the way up who go, you know what, I'll come from France and I'll play for 25 grand a week because you know what, in a year you'll want to pay me 50 grand a week because every week I'm doing it.
And it is the wages, isn't it, at the end of the day? Look at, like, you know, you look at that and you talk about him and say 70, 80 grand a week.
Look at Ante Gomez, 120 grand.
Whereas, like, you know, you bring in like Schmitty, he's going to be on buttons.
Relative buttons.
You know, buttons, isn't he, compared to him? And you know,
apparently he's nowhere to be seen in the next training video either, so make it that what you will.
To be honest, I didn't expect to see him anyway.
That's just not acceptable to me on any level. the kid should at least be pushing, at least be sub. No, but it isn't. It's not. I'm sorry, right? I do try to keep me powder dry on dates because I've got no feelings one way or the other. I'm not getting attached to him. Well, I have got feelings one way. I'm not getting attached to him because I don't think he'll be here long enough for that anyway. And there's just been too much change that you can't get attached to any manager.
Yeah.
But that to me is negligent. That you've got a centre forward in who's 6'4", your other one's out, and yet you're not pushing this kid to start a game. I don't care whether you think he's good enough or not. If he's got the framework and you paid money for him, get him in. Get him in. It'll only be for one game. Dom will be back for Sheffield United with his mask on. And Everton hopefully will have another striker in the door by then. So the crowd going to be all over Chimity. Of course they are. They're going to give the lad a go. And listen, I don't expect him to start, but he better be on the bench tomorrow. Because if he isn't, I'm sorry, that's embarrassing from the manager. It is. No, it is. I don't give it. I don't, Dyche fit means nothing. It's nonsense, that. And we heard the nonsense yesterday when he said about Jarrod Brandtwaite. Well, he come back a bit late and he's not fit. Well, hang on, mate. James Garner came back the same day and started 2 games. What are you on about? Don't start talking shite when you say you're going to be honest with us, because be honest then right from the off. Go, Chimity's not ready, lads, and he ain't going to be ready for 2 months while we get him to what we need. That's fine. I can handle that. I go, okay, no problem. I can surmise that that's what's happening. I want to hear it. If you're honest, I want to hear it then. If you don't think he's going to be ready for 4 weeks, say, right, we're intensely getting into him for 4 weeks, and then we think he's going to be available to the squad. Sound, we all know. We all know where we are. Right, Jarrod Brandtwaite, if you don't think he's ready yet, say, well, we're working with Jarrod and we're hopefully... Fine. Be honest then. Don't be honest to a point and then mask it with other nonsense. Damari Gray, don't say he's not fit. Just say there's uncertainty around Damari at the moment. So, when the window shuts, we'll know where we are. He'll either be here and be back in the squad, or he'll have moved on. Don't go, oh, he's not quite ready yet. He's not. The lad's fit. It's the same with Holgate. The same. So don't play the honesty card and then not be honest. If you're being honest, be honest with us, so us as a fan base. No, that's just my feelings. I'm sure lots of people watching will disagree, but they're just my feelings on it. And I just think it's unacceptable that we're a week before the season starts and we haven't got the striker we've needed for 2 years. I think it's totally unacceptable. I really do.
Absolutely.
I don't know where this lack of urgency in recruitment comes from. I honestly don't understand. They shouldn't be sleeping. As far as I'm concerned, the Kevin Thelwell, Dan Purdy, they shouldn't be sleeping. And you know what? If it is the owner, then put it on his toes. Put it on his toes.
Well, the owner told us in January we would be behind a striker. We're still waiting.
Maybe he meant by next January.
Still waiting.
Listen, Everton are trying to get a striker in. It's just, there just seems like a lack of urgency. And also it does feel to me like darts. Like, you've got faces on a dartboard. Like
one. I say we're buying Phil the Power Taylor then.
Mate, he would be more effective in the box, wouldn't he? Let's be honest.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on his movement.
No, it doesn't have to have good movement, but he hits the target, which is...
With a dart.
Imagine if he could kick... Hang on. He's throwing this metal thing into a tiny hole. Imagine a big ball into a big goal, kicking it straight. I've seen Phil the Power Taylor, mate. I've met Phil the Power Taylor, actually, when he was on the pitch once at Goodison. From my dad's office, when my dad worked there. Met him. It's all right. But I still fancy him now to slot over some of our players. But, I just think it's unacceptable, mate. And I think, I don't understand when you're desperate for a striker, you spend 2.5 months chasing a winger. Then all of a sudden you flip back to the striker you've liked for a year and you've had a go at the other week and you couldn't get him, so now you've gone back to him and then you're relaxing on the winger. So hang on, the other day we needed a winger and a forward. Now do we just need a forward? We don't need the right winger. That to me,
scattergun,
it is, again, and this is the thing. I don't get it. Now Everton might turn around next week and end up with Callum Hudson-Odoi. They might end up with Wilfred Nonso because Leeds might go, you know what, get him out the door. I don't know. But just right now, it still feels scattergun, and that was what I hoped we'd move away from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's just frustrating. And obviously, listen, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin had played a filler last week and done all right, come through the game, and Alex Iwobi wasn't injured, and you'd be going, okay, we just need them in. But he got injured again, and we've sat on our hands again.
Yeah.
We just give a player to Southampton. If they really wanted Shea Adams, where is he? That's the bit that sticks in my throat. Because you just think, what's happening? Whenever it might end up with Beto, and Beto, a lot of people might be going, thank God for that. Yeah. I'd rather have him than Shea Adams anyway. But, I don't know, it just seems a little bit mad to me. But, hey-ho. Steve Park says, hello, boys in the Philippines. Can you please tell my daughter to stop worrying? What's she worrying about?
Yeah,
is it Everton? Or is it Mason Holgate?
Mosquitoes.
Or mosquitoes?
Don't know.
Is it whether the new EAFC is as good as last FIFA or if it's better? I don't know, Steve. Give us a bit. If it's Everton, I'll be honest, Steve, I can't tell you. All I can say is it's early season and there's a long way to go. That's the best I can offer right now. The players have got to go out tomorrow and turn on a performance and win it, get goals from somewhere and get a result against an equally poor side at the moment. Wolves will improve, I'm sure. Everton will improve, I think, maybe, hopefully. But this is an opportunity for 3 points. But Fulham is an opportunity for 3 points. The game played out as an opportunity for 3 points. The XG told you it should have been 3 or 4-0. And Everton got beat 1-0. So someone's going to have to stand up and be counter for us tomorrow. Someone's going to have to take the opportunities when they come. And I think if we could get the 3 points tomorrow, it'd give everybody a massive lift. And then the focus, though, would still be back on recruitment with a week to go. But I think next week we'll have the news that 777 have bought into the club. That might disgust people. It might make people happy. It might make people like, whatever, what does this mean? Whatever. But with that will come some cash, which will free up the opportunity, I guess, to push a couple of things over the line as well. For now. We'll see. It won't be a big war chest where you can go and spend it, but it might give Everton a little bit of cash for down payments. We're not talking much, are we, really? If Everton could get £15 million in cash that they could put down on 2 or 3 players, that would make a big difference, and then pay that money back over the year to set or whatever. But we might have a little bit of clarity early next week. But we still shouldn't be in this position, should we? Let's be honest.
No, it's... Yeah, that side of things is just very worrying. It is when you dig deep into it and you talk about the loans and stuff that we've got. It's worrying. It's very worrying, and I know it's a very complicated situation. It's not as simple as saying that the owner overspent and now it's obviously far more complicated. You've got to add COVID into that. You've got to add the Ukrainian situation in that, which is huge, absolutely huge. But at some point, this fella who owns this football club or his mate are going to have to make a decision, because if they can't go any further themselves and they don't have access to real funds, then they're going to have to sell it, because otherwise what they're going to have is a football club that can't pay its bills. It can't keep lending. It just can't keep lending money. It's great saying, well, we'll take 100 million for the stadium and we need another bit to finish it off. But these are not, the loans aren't, they're all, it's leveraged against different things, and it needs to be, how far can you, think about it in your normal life, your car and your mortgage, and at the end of the day, you can only take out so many loans before you can't pay them back, before how much money you bring in can't cover those loans on a monthly basis. And we're probably already, that's why we're cutting our cloth, but you still need 11 players on a pitch, and you need 11 quality players to stay in the Premier League or thereabouts. So at some point, he's going to have to make a decision whether he just wants investment or he needs to sell the whole club, because otherwise it's all going to come burning down. And that's going to affect obviously us more than anybody. And that's a decision he needs to make, and he needs to make that quickly. And if things aren't looking good, then he has to make that decision, you know, because we're an institution that's been going for 145 years. You know, it's one man coming in, adding to the man he bought it off. I've just destroyed this football club and just took away all the foundations, just wiped all the foundations away from us. And it needs to be sorted, because this thing of just every day, it is literally misery being an Evertonian at the moment.
It is.
It's misery, and everyone watching knows that.
Jamie Carragher's done a piece today, and I know I didn't read, I just got a sense. And some Evertonians will fume at that and go, having a go on it. But the fella's absolutely spot on. What is I mean, I don't know what the article says.
No, it's fine. The article is just standard
but
stuff.
It's depressing.
The article is standard stuff. I said this is the worst club in the country, blah, 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 is the proof. But I ask this question now, and I don't ask it to be controversial, or I don't ask it to be to cause trouble. But where are our legends? Where are our legends? I said this last year. Where are our legends? Where are the people who stand up for us? Where are the people that we put on our walls and we love? I understand last season. I understand people did not want to speak up because their mate was on the board and they didn't want to like go against him. I get that. But he's gone now. Where are our legends standing up for us as fans? Because there's only like Alan Stubbs, Michael Ball, Victor Anichebe, who have really spoke out. There'll be a few others that I can't think of right now off the top of my head, and players who don't have more an affinity maybe with another club than they do with us. But where are the people standing up for us as our legends? And I don't get that at all. This is your perfect example to come out and say, this can't go on. You don't have to name names. You don't have to point fingers. You can just say this can't go on. Something has to change at my football club. I know Andy Gray said stuff over on Being Sports, but this can't go on. Someone has to stand up for us now. And all those people who've been supporting the other fella for this long have to recognise that they've been completely wrong and have to say, listen, I hold my hands up. He's part of the problem. We all know the culture was created by Bill Kenwright, and Mashiri just took that on. Someone has to start standing up for us, don't they? Otherwise, this is going to unravel very, very quickly. And whether you like Sean Dyche or don't like Sean Dyche, I felt yesterday at that press conference, it was all put on his shoulders. And that can't be right either. He's the manager of a football club, and he's only been the manager 8 months, and he's managed to buy one player, Chimiti, who he doesn't sound overly convinced by whatsoever. He's just like, literally, that was the only deal we can do. And I know he knows that he knows he walked into that situation, and he's always said, be honest with me. But when people are like, what about this, what about that, what about that, what about that, and he's like, and you can see him going, oh, I know this is, and he's left out there while everybody else says nothing, the board saying nothing. This temporary board, how long is it going to be temporary for? How long is Bill Kenwright going to be allowed to stay at our football club? That, for me personally, my personal decision is he's destroyed over 30 years, bit by bit by bit. And this can't go on. Every day it's like misery, isn't it? And you get to tomorrow and it's like, my God, 2 o'clock's going to be so interesting tomorrow. So interesting. Because you feel like the manager has to make a decision to take like Michael Keane out the team. Just, even if it's not a football decision, just from a point of view of, I've lost this battle before I even walk in that stadium with the fans. And like, come on. We need something. Someone's got to give us something, please.
I think the thing as well is he's got to demonstrate his willingness to change things up when it's not going well. We've started this. We're bottom of the league. Yeah, we're bottom of the league after 2 games. Now we can go. And he's right. In football terms, it's not. How can it be a crisis 2 games into a 38-game season? He's absolutely right. Everton could win 3. It's possible that Everton could win 3 games in a week. And next week, when the win, next Saturday night, we might have brought in a striker, a centre-back, a winger, won 3 games, and we'll be on the international break going, what were we all worried about? Jack Harrison back after the break, so's Dwight McNeil, whatever. The world could look a totally different place, right? But the manager has to demonstrate his ability to see changes when it's needed. We've let 5 goals in 2 games. Therefore, the defence isn't doing its job, so it needs changing. Dead simple. Dead simple. You had the sense of... If you had the choice of strikers and the lad you've got playing through the middle has missed open goals in the first game and open goals in the second game, you pull him out for a couple of games and you put a different lad in and go, right, can you take your chance? You don't wait 5 and 6 games and go, oh, he's missed loads, he's missed loads. You make the change. Good managers change it game by game if they feel it. So he's got to do it tomorrow and make them changes, because it's not like we've lost both games 1-0 and one's a wonder goal and one was just a mistake. We could have. Last week was shambolic from all of them. Like, the defensive partnership at the heart of the defence doesn't work. It's
proven.
It's had 2 clean sheets in about 15 games, and the amount of goals it's shipped is incredible. So it's not working, and he's not going to take Tarkowski out because he's the captain. So he's got to change it up. Does he bring Mikalenko back in at left back and push Ashley Young higher up for this week, because we have got a lack of options with a couple of wingers out, aren't we? Well, 3 wingers down, aren't we, if you include Iwobi as a winger? Does he do that? Does he play Danjuma through the middle? Does he play him out wide? So he's got these decisions to make. Does he make a change in the midfield? Does James Garner play centre mid and Decore's out the side because he's not performed well in the opening 2 matches? I don't care. It was great that he scored that volley against Bournemouth. It was brilliant. And he did. But he hasn't started the season very well. If he'd knock one square to Garner in the opening game, Everton beat Fulham, and we're in a different headspace. So he's got to be able to make these changes. You can't keep putting the same lads out and go, you'll get it right this week, because Lampard did that, and before you know it, you rooted to the bottom of the league, and then it takes an almighty effort to get out of trouble. There's got to be someone that leads this club forward, and if the manager can't do it, then he'll be chased, because this owner sacks managers. That's what he does. If anyone showed the owner the manager's win rate, Sean Dyche would be in trouble today, right? But then the owner's got to do stuff. What's the owner can not surely does he just sit there going, it'll come right in the end? Or is he speaking to this 7-7? I know a lot of people aren't happy with 7-7-7. That's where we are right now.
I know it is.
I'm not saying they're great, by the way, but that is going to happen next week.
Well, no, if you read all the articles of 7-7-7, they aren't. They've got some track record. That's all I'll say. They've got some track record, but that's where we are because I was listening to there's a podcast. I listened to a podcast yesterday, Rodgers and the S, because I was just really interested to just see what their views were on it and listen to it. And because Matt Slater was on, the guy who wrote the article. Really interested to be it. But when you put it all together, when you're like, the deal didn't get done because the people on the board, or the people who had already lent us money, didn't feel like. And I get that. I understand there's multi layers. It's not just as simple as we've lost out and let's blame everyone. But when you look at it and think, well, these people weren't offering enough, but it was the other side of it, just people going on the board, the restructuring of the board.
That was the hope, wasn't
2
it?
Evertonians going on the board as well, probably one as a chairman.
They might still come
No,
in.
they might. No, they might. But the other thing of it was, it was going to open the door, and I don't know whether this will still happen. It's going to open the door to JP Morgan and Mitsubishi Bank giving us more money for the stadium. So basically, because these people were coming in, and it wasn't just a loan, they were looking at it as basically, you're coming in, you're giving these money, it's not just a loan. So therefore, we actually think and it almost sounds like we actually feel like there's an adult in the room now. So we're willing to give you the money for the stadium. So that's all gone. So that's going to all have to be found again. Going to have to go through all that.
Unless they
stay. Yes,
that's
fair enough. That is fair enough. But it just felt like it was a perfect, not perfect, nothing's perfect, but a really good solution to where we are.
Yeah.
New people on the board.
Yeah.
Evertonians going on the board that are self-made
businessmen as well.
self-made people who the two men were the two men who lent Everton the 40 million bridge and loan, which they'll get back as part of the 100 million. They were coming on the board. Now they might still come on the board. I see no reason why they shouldn't. But it just felt like a solution.
No, it did.
It felt like a solution. It felt like putting the train back on the track. Yeah, you're at the first station, but at least you're on the track. And that's what is so frustrating. And if we do go to 777, who knows what they'll come up with? Who knows what people they'll want? Who knows what structure they'll want? Will it be the same structure? Will it be, well, you're desperate, we'll give you money, but we want we don't want money shares in the ground. We want shares in the stadium. All these little things, and that's what's annoying.
That was the same thing, by the way.
No, I know, but
no, you said don't want shares in the ground, want them in the stadium.
Sorry, shares in the club. We want them in the stadium. Sorry.
No, someone will pick it up. So I'm just letting you know.
It just felt
yeah,
like that one, and they cocked
better.
it up because people that already lend them money, rightly so, have gone. Do you know that corner of Goodison there? We own that. You can't. Very much like, I mean, this has happened before, by the way. This happened, if people don't know, this happened when Everton tried to build the Everton project. So if anyone doesn't know what the Everton project was, it was a 4-story building that was going to go on the park end where the fan zone is, and obviously further back. It was going to be a shop on the bottom floor. It was going to be a cafe on the second floor, hospitality on the third floor, and on the fourth floor it was going to be Everton offices. All done. Renders are there. You can find all the pictures online. Looked great. Always do. No, you always do. You always put it in the night. All the lights shining.
Yeah.
Going to look fantastic. It was going to give kit bag. The kit bag have always been moaned that there's not enough space in the megastore. Basically, there's not enough space, so we can't give you all this stuff if you've got nowhere to sell it. Basically, they want a bigger store. This was all going to happen. Anyway, this thing they moved them. They had a tent. Older people will remember the tent where they used to do stuff. That was removed. That was sold. And basically, this thing, like Everton always do, went quiet. Everton ended up coming out with 4 different answers of why it couldn't be done. 4 different answers. This was very much when the Blue Union were in operation, and they were pressing, and I sat at those meetings, and the questions were asked, where is this project? Oh, well, there's this thing and there's that thing, and it ended up being that they didn't own the land. Someone else owned the land. There was a mortgage on the land, basically, like this what we're talking about right now. There was a mortgage on the land, and that was it. That stopped the whole deal, because basically someone went, no, that land you want to build that thing on, that's our land. In case if you can't pay the loan back, that's our land. And like, you know, if you've got a car and you've got to pay finance on it and you try and sell it, you can't. You've got finance on that car. You know, it's not really owned by you. It's owned by the people who've given you the finance. So it never got built. And this is exactly the same. You can't be doing deals to sell parts of the club if you don't own those parts of the club, or someone's got, you know, like your mortgage. So that's where it all comes from. You can't run your club properly. You get into debt. Someone gives you a solution and you can't even do it because of the money you already owe. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. What can we do? Liam says, so now Everton have passed the deadline for getting someone in for tomorrow. At this stage, the Everton hierarchy could be cited for professional negligence. It's getting to that point. The director of football is a cop-out, the manager is a cop-out, the owner is a mank, and look at us.
And the biggest Everton owner in the world is the one who sabotaged us the most. So,
Mathew Barry says, afternoon, lads, hope you're well. Do you know if we have a loan fee for Holgate? If so, do you think it's going towards a down payment for Adams or Beto? Who knows, mate? You know, I think Everton's first concern was getting half of his wages back. We'll see. The Che Adams thing is obviously still bubbling in the background. Obviously, Everton interested in Beto as well. They're not going to get both of them, are they? So it'll be which one's easier to do, I imagine. Tom says, how many games do you think we could go without a win before Dyche's job comes under threat? You never know with this owner, do you? If Everton were to lose tomorrow and against Sheffield United, then there's an international break then. Wouldn't surprise me if he sacked them then. Just wouldn't, just knowing the way the club is. But listen, let's look the other way.
Yeah.
Let's look at the chance of winning 3 games in a week. And let's see. Everton Viking says, I think we have a real chance of getting nobody in. Okay.
I like that, a real chance.
Dan B says, afternoon lads, just watched the training video. Chimity nowhere to be seen. Must not be Deitch fit or whatever that means. Fed up with this nonsense. Maybe Brett Angel. Tell him he found his contact lens. More movements from him than Maupai in the box. David says, who do you think is a realistic possibility for a striker? And what's your thoughts on whether we keep Gomez? Gomez will go last day, won't he? Andre Gomez.
Hasn't been much talk though, has there?
No, but again, that'll be down to wages. There'll be lots of players who were up for grabs on the final. Final
It just hasn't been many rumours, has there?
I think Lille want him, but they know that Everton, with his wages, Everton struggle to get rid of him. We'll probably end up, he's got a year left, we'll probably end up paying half of his wages for a year, but then Everton will go, well, we're getting 60 grand a week back, so it's sound. Be another player who walked out the door for nothing. We'll see. Paul says no loan fee. If not, great negotiations. Well, Everton will look at it as every penny saved, won't he? Rob says, afternoon lads, stuck in bed with COVID. I've had it for a week and it's totally debilitating. Can't stand up or walk without holding on to something and can't eat. Bloody hell, mate. Get some vitamin D down your neck. Evan Viking also says, we also have to truly hope 777 are nowhere near this club. Look what they've done with other clubs. This will be even worse than they are now. On positive news, I think Dan Juma will score this weekend. I played both him and Dobbin on the wing. I think if I was you, mate, I'd just kind of accept that 777 are probably going to be the ones who come in for your own mental health. Kev, afternoon lads, are you doing a transfer deadline day next Friday? Absolutely. All day, all night. So, yeah, we are. Matt says, busy, so catching up later. Just wondering if there's any details who the Asian party interested is. Magnificent support group and safe space as always, peeps. No, mate, I think it's a Chinese consortium. But unless they come up with some compelling arguments to come in, I think it'll be 777. But we'll see. Ned's Les Paul says, now then, gents, who would you drop out of Mopai and Keane on Saturday if you had to choose one?
Keane. It's not even. I don't even have to think about that for half a second. It's Keane.
Okay.
We've got other centre backs. We don't think we've got another striker.
John's number one fan says, any news on Che Adams?
I think it's done, innit?
I don't know.
Unless it happens
I think
next
it's
week.
still. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Well, they might have cooled because at the end of the day, they might have realised that they couldn't get it done by the weekend anyway. So let's play clever bollocks. Go back in next week when no one else has gone in for him, and he's maybe by then is starting to push for it because he knows he doesn't want to get stuck in the Championship for the rest of the season. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way to look at it. I mean, it doesn't help us. I mean, it's another game, isn't it? But
Matthew Barry says Deitch fit is an absolute myth. If that's what's keeping Michael Keenan above Branthwaite, it's abundantly clear the manager isn't as data-driven as he claims to be. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people he's causing himself issues, the manager, it seems, with a lot of people. So,
well, the data says Michael Keane and James Tarkowski shouldn't be playing together.
Yeah.
That's what the data says.
Forget about your eyes should tell you that as well, but if they don't, the data says that. Bill Cummings says TikTok, we need minimum a target man
Imagine
striker.
if he was an Evertonian.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine him?
And a centre back.
TikTok. He would. Oh, that would be compelling selling if he was an Evertonian, wouldn't it?
Benjamin says, hi lads, I love the new Baz. Is there a
this isn't the new Baz, by the way.
Is there a protest tomorrow?
No,
it's no protest.
This isn't the new Baz, by the way. This is WhatsApp Baz. He has been mentioned in the past.
Yeah.
He comes up now. He raises his head now and again.
It's when it gets too much, and I feel like
I've told him he should. All the videos we've had millions of views.
I live in this city. I have to go to match. I have to walk
but it's
around.
real,
I'm a dad.
But it's real. But it's real emotion. It's not fake.
By the time I get home from the match, it's died. It's gone.
Should do an instant.
And it's can't. No, not a chance. Not a chance. I'd be banned. Steve P says Dyche is a proper bullshit merchant. Let's be honest. How people compare him to David Moyes is truly beyond me.
Yeah.
Nothing like him in the slightest. Doesn't suit this club and never will. If he's still our manager next season, I'm going to go and swan dive into the Albert Dock stark naked. Fair play, Steve. Paul says loving the reverse roles. Head all chilled and baz on it again. Collins says
we just like to keep you on your toes. Like to keep you on your toes.
Collins says great show as always, lads. I'm with you, Baz. The whole Dyche show is doing my head in. This Dyche fit for shite can get in the bin. I said yesterday I've had enough of him. Chat's complete poo, and his arrogance and inconsistency drains me, and the Branthwaite stuff is just not putting Cannon on for a run out at 4-0 just melts my brain. And why did he sub on the Angle one for 1 minute? I don't get it. What's going on? Only he'd be able to tell you that. It's probably for stats that about young players. James says absolutely right, Baz. Negligent is all it can be. Embarrassing to everyone that watches football that team sheet we know is coming this weekend doesn't have a new striker on it. Mark says get Julian Lopetegui on the phone. He wouldn't put up with Everton, mate.
No, he didn't put up with Wolves.
Didn't put up with Wolves. He would not last 3 weeks here. Carl says, am I the only one who's worried about Dyche's comments using his contacts in the transfer market? What the hell have we got the recruitment team for? Finn says, just thought I'd say I got closed beta for FIFA basically. Yeah, I've got it as well, mate. It's all right. I mean, I played Zach this morning. He's destroyed.
I'm sure, actually, I got an email about that.
Yeah, he absolutely destroyed me this morning. Richard says Bill Kenwright, Kevin Thelwell, Farhad Mashiri, Michael Keane, Niall Mopai, DJ Spuddles, Mr. Testicles. Our boys have taken one hell of a beating this summer. Collins says he can't believe we're still here 2 years later. Steve P says, Baz, could it be when Southampton started chatting 18 mil? We thought we may as well just try and get Beto for 25 as there's not much difference. He'd offer more value. Hopefully that's what's happened, but we'll probably be giving these people too much credit. Also, did you see his 2 goals against Lazio last season? He headed and ran from the halfway line round at the keeper. Looks like Calvert-Lewin on steroids. Going from Che Adams to him would be like going from Danielle Westbrook to Margot Robbie. If I had to pick which one I think it'd end up here, though, I'd probably still go for Adams.
Yeah.
You know, if someone went, who do you feel like is more likely to end up? It wouldn't be like I'd choose Adams over him, not at all. I just mean, because I just feel like the Pozzos will just like keep us on the hook till like next Thursday and then go, nah, not selling them. Then Everton will be flapping. Paul says the Carragher article was spot on, no fume from me. Joe says we've got a mad owner and more mad people coming in. We are finished. Jonathan says wish Radcliffe or the Qataris would buy us. We'd be far cheaper option. Saying this to Pep before, you're talking 5 billion for United or 6 billion. And yet these fellas just want a Premier League club. Say Everton. Say they offered 600 million for Everton. You could buy that. You could finish the stadium with a couple of 100 million and put 1 billion into the team over the next 5 or 6 years, depending on how you did it.
Hard work, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but you have a Premier League club with a brand new stadium.
No, I'm just saying it's hard
work,
though, isn't it?
No, it is, but
they don't get you. These are people,
and you'd still be 4 billion up.
No, I know, but these people want ready-made Champions League teams, don't they? That's the problem. That's what they want. They don't. They don't want the hard work.
No. City's owners did, didn't they? They didn't mind, did they? When they bought City were terrible, weren't they?
Well, they were terrible, but also
but they had the
but the thing, it's like Newcastle as well. People say about Everton and Newcastle being the same. They weren't. Mike Ashley had no debt. Well, he didn't put money into them, but
it's the same as Kenwright.
But he didn't have any debt.
Exactly the same. When Mashiri come in, Everton had no debt.
No, they did. They did.
Not much.
They
They
had like
didn't.
150 million debt.
They didn't.
They did.
Go
He
and-
had to pay it off.
Go and read. Well, it was serviceable over
No, I know,
30 years.
But the point being is,
Newcastle had debts.
Mike Ashley kept them. He didn't do anything for them, but he just kept them like almost like he kept them prepped for a buy. Basically, it was just like, I'm selling. Everyone knows I'm
But
selling.
Everton, you could still clean that. The money to these people now is nothing.
It's not.
These
But
people,
it's the
it's
hard work though. There's so much. Look, we're talking. How much is there to do? There's so much to do.
I know, but it starts if you're
Would you, if you had honest to God, if you had billions of pounds and you'd no affinity to Everton, would you go near this club? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't go anywhere near this
if I
club.
had billions to spend and I wanted a Premier League club, Everton are a big name still. They're not a big team, of course they're not. They're getting a brand new stadium on the Liverpool waterfront.
Yeah.
It wouldn't cost a lot of money to own them and turn them round. You go in, everyone's gone. Everyone's gone out that club. Bump, straight out the door. New people in and start moving forward. I don't think it takes much.
I wouldn't.
No,
Honestly,
I
I just wouldn't come anywhere near this club. It's.
But I wouldn't have gone near Newcastle.
But
And I wouldn't have gone near
Newcastle,
Man
though,
City at
But
the time.
Newcastle, it was like clean. It just
There
needs.
was murder.
No, but
He hated that owner.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you're saying clean. Everton, if you've got the money, you make Everton clean immediately.
But there's,
Immediately.
you don't though, do you? Because there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. There's the actual finishing of the stadium. There's the money you have to spend on the pitch. There's the decision you have to make about the manager. And there's obviously you've got to sort out
the
all
people
the
who
debt.
you're talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. Though. Why would you be asked? That's what I'm saying. Though. Why would you be asked?
Well, why would you be asked buying a football club anyway? That's what I was saying.
I know,
no
but,
one makes any
but
money.
why would you? But that's the point. It's not about making money. It's a measuring contest. It all these fellas. That's why
They have the best stadium in the Premier League within a year when it's in.
But that's why we're more likely to get someone to buy the football club when it's built, not when it's half built.
That's more than half built. You sound like Ditsy Keith.
No, but it's getting built. But it's still got the whole of the interior to do.
Let's race through these. Derek says it's going to be a slow week. I think one transfer is the most likely. Hope I'm wrong. Don't seem to be close on anything. We need a striker, a right wing, and a centre back. And in an ideal world, the centre mid. They won't go for a midfielder, I don't think. But as you've been saying, you think it'll be 3 more. Do you still think it'll be that? I'll be honest, now I'm starting to worry because they don't seem to be able to close. I do think there'll be lots available in the last day though, and it wouldn't surprise me if Everton just grabbed 2 loans on the last day. I think they'll get a striker to do. But Georgie says, have you boys watched the 777 video by the young kid? They'd be an abomination. They destroyed every club they've been at.
No, put the link in there.
Put the link and we'll have a look at it. I mean, to be honest, mate, it won't take much to destroy us because we're there practically, aren't we? Unless someone comes in and genuinely wants to get it going. But surely they don't come in and decide to destroy clubs. Surely not. I know they've had murder at Valencia. Was it Valencia? There was murder at Valencia.
That was Peter Lynn.
No, but they come in and bite into it as well. Surely that.
That sounds worse than us.
Yeah.
They've got a half-finished stadium as well.
Evan Viking says, I don't see how 777 will come in, no, Baz. They have no money being using leverage buyouts to get other clubs, but I'm just saying that's what I think will happen. We'll know in the next 72 hours, probably. Matthew Barry says, when do you think the Premier League and FA will start the investigation into the PGMOL?
Yeah.
Well, they won't, will they? It's why the same reason why they won't have AI offsides. Because they can't manipulate it then. I said this, Gray. I said this for time. Considering the Hadja case, can Everton get a witch doctor in and get Pickford to piss on the goalposts? I'm literally up for doing most things now to get us some good juju as we've been. That was the worst thing that happened. They put the curse on us. At that time when they cursed us, everything was good.
6 years yesterday. I mean, and look who scored the goal over there.
Why did you mention him?
I didn't mention him. I'm just saying, look at who scored the goal over there.
He's about to join Lingby. He's about to join Lingby.
Curse couple of years.
So it's been an absolute joke. That curse, we need to do anything we can. If anyone knows any curse lifting, Are you a witch doctor? Can you help? Yeah, exactly.
Call this number.
Exactly. EFC88 says we need Beto and Suleiman are on loan and David Alaba. Well, we're not getting Beto on loan, are we? That ain't happening. Could get Suleiman on loan. Where are we, Corey? Corey says, Baz, I agree with Ped. Ain't no way a billionaire are coming for us. They became billionaires by not making stupid mistakes.
I mean, there is definitely one.
There's all. I mean, as if only there was evidence to say that a billionaire buying into Everton.
One. But he might be. Do you think there's like a billionaire book magazine, Billionaire Weekly, and they're like, do not do what this guy did? How to lose all your money?
Well, Newcastle apparently Newcastle's blueprint is do the opposite of what Everton did.
Whatever Everton do, just whatever. Good stuff.
Carl, if Mashiri seems like a guy who sits on a swivel chair with a Siamese cat on his laptop that he strokes on deadline day watching Toffee TV. Well, if he does, I'm going to be reminding him, like, tick, I think we need to get that tick, tack on all day to go out and just do whatever you can to get some players in. But it's grim. It is grim, isn't it?
It's good times.
Oh, well, what can we do, people? Right, I need a toilet break before we... a comfort break, I think they're called, before we go on to more than a game for the transfer show. Lots happening over there. Like we say every single day, if anything Everton related happens, we'll discuss it there. The link will be here. The transportation link will be here. You don't need to go anywhere. Across. Just stay here and jump across and let's carry on the chat. Let's talk about other clubs and how nice it is at other clubs. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and more than a game. Thanks for watching. See you in 5 minutes. We'll be back.